Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Cover Art Conversations. My name is Isis. I'm a graphic designer, and we have the one, the only Ro here with us today. And we're going to be talking about all things creative, from photography to creative direction and album covers and everything under the sun, all the nerdy interests, artistic stuff that people want to talk about. So, girl, how are you? I'm so happy to talk.
Good. Yo, I'm so happy. Thank you as well for being patient with me to getting on. But I'm excited.
No, obviously,
I'm not an interview person, so like I'm excited to be uncomfortable and like have a great conversation.
Yes, I feel like I'm not trying to gas my head up or nothing, but I feel like I'm a really good person to do that with.
It feels like it.
Okay, so I want to go back all the way to the beginning, to like when you were a kid, and how you kind of got to like starting to become a photographer. Because I always ask this question because I love to know like what type of Easter eggs and things did we like as kids that literally led us to our careers and our passions. So were you always creative? Did you come from a creative family? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, never. I came from a sports family, so
Okay.
all like, and when I say sports, I mean we didn't go to birthdays, we didn't go to weddings because we had sports. Well, we played softball, and I have two sisters.
Oh, wow.
My dad played in the NFL for a little bit, so like he was like our dad coach our whole life. So we were just raised as athletes. And then, very long story short, when I was in high school, I had a scholarship. Lost my scholarship due to an injury my senior year, but was in a photography class my senior year of high school. And I would never go, like, if I'm being quite honest. It was like an elective, like, okay, cute, like I'll go when I want to.
Yeah.
So when I got hurt, I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to go to class and like focus. And I remember one day my teacher was like, if you come with me to like her personal shoot, she's like, I'll give you extra credit, blah, blah, blah. And I went, and she was doing like a wedding inspired shoot. And I just loved the process, but I didn't necessarily love the like the art of it. Like I was like, wait, I want to do this, but for like the people I admire or like the community that I'm a part of. And I would say that was like the first time where it kind of like raised the eyebrow, like, dang, I really had a good time there. And like kind of like being like spur of the moment, like, wait, stand right there, go right there. Like there was not a plan, and I really, really liked that. So I think like from that point forward, my interest grew. Like I was like, wait, how do I make the background blurry? Oh wait, how do I do this? So that was like my first spark. So towards the end of high school. And then I worked 2 jobs after that, exiting high school. And I really was like the queen of reaching out to people. Like, but I reached out with a plan. So I'd be like, hey, I'm working on photography. I love your look. I know exactly what I want to do with you. Here's your mood board. Do you want to do it? And a lot of LA people kind of were like, yeah, let's do it. And I didn't have followers. I didn't have any of that. I didn't even have blue hair at the time, which is crazy. Oh and that's really how it started. And it just kind of manifested itself. And so that's like the childhood story. And then I like my like what seems like overnight success. Like I met Bryson very quickly into that, like within that first year out of high school. So
really, so I love that, because then that like that's like real friendship. And I love like talking with other creators about how they feel about working with friends, because I do a lot of projects with my friends, and like I love it because they really trust me, and they like have grown with me creatively. I have a really good friend that's a photographer as well. And so I love that we're able to like go back and forth off of each other. But wow, so like that means that you both have creatively grown together.
Yeah, well, I did meet him. Like he had music on SoundCloud. He had his buzz. And so we did meet like very randomly. Like I followed him on Instagram, and then I was still like kind of like the reaching out of like local people that I admired kind of thing. There was like one of those people that was like, oh, do you want to shoot me in the studio? I go with her to the studio. He just so happened to be there working on Trapsoul. We're both very shy people, so we did not speak, did not anything. And then the next day he had DM'd me like, I think you were at my house. And I was like, yeah, I was just in the corner, like, you know. And then he was like, oh, cool, like, well, I love your work, like, let's connect again. And then we literally did not connect again until doing the Trapsoul cover. So like
Wow.
that shoot was our first shoot and the first time we ever really like talked, hung out, I guess. And I was just a kid. Like when I'm looking back, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy.
I love that. That's so like purposeful and divine, because especially like as young creatives, like to your point, we just be doing stuff. Like we don't know what's gonna make sense later and what's not. And when you go like a true creative, you don't go in thinking about like, oh, I gotta let me shoot this person so I could, like, to your point,
Yeah.
LA and stuff, like you like just go off vibes. And so, okay, there's so many things I want to talk about in what you just said, but going back to growing up. So you grew up in California.
In Long Beach.
Okay. So what was that? Like, you were kind of saying that you were an introvert, but like what types of things did you like to do as a kid? Like outside of sports, I know you were saying like you were a super sports family, but was there anything else? Like, did you come from a big family? Was it just, were you guys very close knit? Like, what was that like?
I mean, my immediate family, I just have 2 older sisters. My parents were together when I was like throughout high school. So we were close knit in that aspect. When I say sports, like it is literally nothing more to that. But my dad was like a teacher in the neighborhood that we're from. So like there was community there in Long Beach. And then having older siblings, like when I went to high school, they all know me because of my sisters, you know, but more of like that sports world, you know. So that was really what it was. Other than that, like I feel like Long Beach is such, like there's so many different people there that like I feel like that raised me to be so like I was around everybody, like you know. So that was kind of just what it was, I think, when it comes from like inspiration of like culture. And besides that, I think growing up in the sports world, that kind of shaped my like work ethic, like my goals, my work ethic, my really good discipline, especially when I was like I don't know, when I started photos, I didn't really do anything but that. I just worked, did photos, made another mood board. Like I was very, very focused on like that's what I wanted to do. So I think like childhood wise, that's really what like cemented that.
So when you first started, when you first started photography, like what was your style like? Like I know you were saying that you were at the wedding and you liked the fluidity of it all. So actually like totally makes sense, because I feel like sports is always, it's quick, it's fast, there's a lot of movement going on. So
a lot of anticipation. Yeah.
And like I guess energetically, I totally see why that would be your vibe. But when you were first like figuring it out, what were the kind of photography styles that you were taking to? Like what was a lot of inspiration?
I guess I really liked like streetwear, to be honest. Like streetwear, if not that, like I had a couple friends close by where I lived where like they were kind of like my muses. Like we'd always be like, wait, let's do shoot like this. And like I would literally go to Goodwill, get an outfit, get a robe, like jump a fence, have the girls sit on the bleachers at like Long Beach City College or something. Like we were down for all of that, and it would do really well. Or even just like at that time, that's when like Champion was having like their big comeback, like hoodie comeback. So it'd be like get a Champion outfit, put the girls in it, drive around Long Beach. And I'm a very like texture color person too, so it's like it was ultimately that, like, okay, come in my car, like I need control of like we're all together. Okay, look at, you're wearing red, this is a red background, that'll look cool. Like that was kind of the vibe. So like we had a vision, but in the moment it really was just like as we're going, we're figuring it out.
I love that. And I feel like something that I notice about like your work and some of your projects that I've seen, like I like that you talked about like just having your friends and that streetwear vibe, because if I'm not mistaken, so I'm doing the math of the years in my head. So Trapsoul was like 2015-ish. So this is still around the time of like Tumblr and like all of like that whole.
It was like Tumblr-ish, a little bit more Instagram. Like because I graduated 2014, so like from I pretty much had 1 year of like before I met Bryson, like 1 year of like my trial and error and like networking and stuff like that.
Got it. And I bring that up because I'm thinking like this of styles and aesthetics, and like at that time streetwear was, and I spent a lot of time on Tumblr, like that
Mm-hmm.
hipster era, and
Yeah.
was a lot, especially like being in New York. Like I remember so many friend groups and communities would go viral, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like you would know everybody in the friend group from Tumblr. Like, and I don't know if that
Yeah.
it shouldn't be too niche. And I'm a little younger. I graduated in 2017,
Mm-hmm.
but I have older cousins, so I just remember like again what you're saying, like with the textures and the colors and things like that. Like that was such the vibe, and the oversaturation in the
Mm-hmm.
photos and all the
Yeah.
pictures and stuff. So I love that. And the bottom line for that's streamlines for you, I think, is like culture, like
Mm-hmm.
always knowing what's culturally relevant, I guess you could say, and purposeful or not purposeful, just always keeping your finger on the pulse is, I think, how you can continuously to make really good pictures. So I
Thank
love
you.
that. So
I appreciate that.
I also love that you have roots in album covers. So I'm like, she's photography all day and she does touring and sports, but like her roots is album covers. So what was shooting that like? I know for me, Trapsoul visually reminds me of the Jay-Z album cover Kingdom Come. And I don't know if I'm just saying that because both are red, but I'm thinking of just like the shadows and how it was lit and everything. And I think for Trapsoul was a little more vampy, like a little bit more moody than Kingdom Come.
Mm-hmm.
So creatively, what was that like? Was there a mood board for him at that point, or
A mood board? I wish there was a mood board.
gosh.
It's so funny because like getting dressed right now, I just played Trapsoul. I was like, let me just like tap into my 10 years ago self, because I'm a very like passionate person. So leading with that, I think what was the best case scenario, or like what I learned back then, is that he had already had like 5 songs on SoundCloud that were on Trapsoul, you know? So I had a good idea of his sound, his story from what he told us, you know, before the project came out, like when we did the cover. Now, what I was not prepared for in my, you know, amateur days is like I'm shooting in the daytime. Like I'm shooting when the sun's out. I don't know how to do lighting. I have not tapped into any of that, and I'm just by myself. Like that's what I was doing. So I remember just like one day he calls and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow night?" Mind you, we don't really know each other like that. So he's just like, sorry, I was in Kentucky. I'll be back in LA. Can we do my cover tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, of course we can do the cover tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what time? And he's like, maybe come at like 7. And in my mind, I'm like having a panic attack because I'm like 7 at night. Like I don't shoot at night, like, you know. And he was just like, yeah, that's cool. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Like I'm still just like, yeah, I guess. And I kid you not, I took off some LED strip lights out of my room, like off the wall. You know, it'd be ripping your paint off the wall because we ripped it off. I took those and I went to Lowe's and I got some red light bulbs, and then I went to Goodwill and I got like 2 lamps. I don't know what it was for me to be like, that might be a vibe, but that was ultimately like the vision.
Yeah.
And he had already told me like he likes moody, he likes dark, he doesn't want too much of his face. Like we had that discussion.
Yeah.
Besides that, when we were there, everything was kind of just like winging it, kind of just like let's overshoot. And then he is to this day, like he wants to sit with you, edit them, look at all the pictures, choose the pictures. So like that was our process after that. Which ultimately led us to like, and he's very certain, like when he does like a picture, he's like, I love that picture. So that is how that cover came about.
Yeah.
But it's just funny. I need to find like a BTS photo that we have of like his best friend, like holding the LED strip, like right here above his head, because it's not very bright, obviously.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, but it was the best. Like we talk about it all the time, like how we were really just kids, but everyone's like, we love that picture. And I'm like, I love the picture too. But it is funny because it more was just of like, mind you, he's very introverted. I especially then was like super shy.
Yeah.
So imagine just like a quiet room of like red lights.
Just all you hear is the clicks and the red light.
Literally. And then like when it's over, like we were both super like satisfied. Like, yeah, that's the cover. That looks great. Okay, see you next time. Like it was very funny. Like, you know.
I love that. That's so real though. Like that's what I love. Like I know I don't want to say dissect, but I analyze a lot of album covers, and sometimes it's just like when there's a vibe, and there's a certain art that is necessary for you to capture the perfect vibe. And I'm sure he's like moving his head. I would love to see like
Like outtakes.
all the different pictures.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Wow, I love that. So after Trapsoul, because that was kind of like okay, well, I have so many things to say. So after Trapsoul, what was kind of like your next usher into like your photography project, if you can remember it, not specifically, you know, but what was like your next project after that?
Well, that specifically, like that was my first photo to be like, you can go to Best Buy and his album's there and like stuff like that. So I think in my world, that was like the first time like my parents were like, oh, okay, she's doing something. Because, you know, other than that, it's like they're not connecting like Instagram and me being like, so and so followed me, and they're like, okay, what is that gonna do for you? Like, you know, but to me, I'm like, I see the vision, like, you know. So
wait, what was that? Not to cut you off, what was that feeling like? Like seeing your cover, like a cover that you've designed everywhere like that? Crazy. I don't even know. I empathize with what that feeling might feel like, but I create in such like, I have object permanence when I create. I create under the guise of like, no, ain't nobody looking at me for real. Nobody's really looking at me.
Really?
I have to do that because if I think about the amount of eyes that are like have access to the things that I do, I would probably spontaneously combust. So I need to just like not even think about that. And then to see your work out there is crazy. So what did that feel like?
I think I'm just a very like, to this day, if I see my work anywhere, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I'm living my dream. Like I don't take anything for granted like that.
Love that.
So I think back then when I was younger, it was just like I have a good support system, but I know nobody knew what I was doing. You know what I mean? So I think like for it to come to fruition quite quickly was just a really good feeling that like I was working really hard and it was like manifesting it did feel like overnight, if I'm being honest, like it did. And it felt good that like the vision that I saw for myself, that was the opportunity for other people to see that like it could be a career and not just socials or not just, you know, somebody tagging me or something like that. So it was just a very fulfilling feeling. I remember I went to Best Buy by myself, bought it, took a picture, holding it in the car. Like I'm a very like,
oh, I love that. Because that's me too. I'll never get too cool for school in that way. Like
at all.
But I can't believe I created this. I have so many moments like that. And I ain't even do my big one yet. And that's not like, you know, I got a lot of creating to go, but it's still like super surreal in that way.
Yeah.
So you shot Trapsoul. That was great cover. So Anniversary. If let's stick to the topic of Bryson before we outreach into artists, especially because I did a video about kind of like analyzing his album covers in like a way. Trapsoul was red and then Anniversary was blue, and he's like to the left, looking to the right. So were those types of choices intentional? Like what was then the conversation for Anniversary? Because I'm sure it was very different than when Trapsoul was created.
Yeah, he knew he wanted it to be like a reflection of the Trapsoul energy. So like looking the other way was definitely his concept.
Okay.
And then he actually let me direct a video for the Anniversary.
Oh, I know, girl. We're gonna talk about that. I know.
Yeah, so like when we were working on that video, which was like prime COVID time and all of that craziness, is when we kind of worked on it together, where it was like, okay, he had changed a lot. So there's like little Easter eggs in the video that like I was very passionate about, which was Trapsoul era was the red, Anniversary was the blue light, and we kind of like played off of that contrast. But yeah, he's a very strong visionary as well, so it's like working with him is a little bit more collaborative, with like my opinions of how he should look, because I feel like my best gift is like I'm gonna make you look the best that you could look. And I think that's how everything comes out so organic with us, for sure.
I think that is a true skill. Everybody swear they got the eye, but I feel like it is really a true talent. And something that I also noticed, because I want to talk about the music video is I like the way, because photography can be interpreted in every different ways. There's mad different photographers, different styles, but I like how you specifically capture his essence visually, because I think it lands really well. And something as simple as just color. Sometimes we don't need all of the VFX and everything. It's cool and I love it, but sometimes like things like light, because I feel like that's your thing. The lighting, like playing on that is sometimes how we can get the message. And especially for somebody like, you know, Bryson, he's an R&B artist, and it's very vampy and moody, but it's not like whiny and sad. Like it's hard to capture like that perfect thing, especially like talking about R&B in general. There's so many like in like micro niches of R&B. So I love the way that you specifically capture that. So let's talk about the music video. So what take me from the phone call when he was like, "Can you creative direct this?" And he was like, "Oh my God, yes." And then to the end.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. He's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna be in LA. It's COVID. We can get like a small group of people together." And like, he's like, "I feel like you can pull it off," which is like, that's one thing. Like, I will always put him on a pedestal for like putting me on a pedestal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, wait, but I never did a video. And he'll be like, "But you can." And I'm like, "You're right, I can." And it was like that with photos. And I think like, going back to starting my career with him, is that his career took off so fast that, like, mind you, I have one camera, one lens, not made for touring, not made for like certain things, that his career was progressing so quickly overnight too. So it'd be like, he's like, "Can you go on tour?" And I'm like, yeah, but I think I need a bigger lens. Like, I'm so far, my lens is this little, like stuff like that. So he was always like a great supporter in that aspect. Like you're gonna keep up kind of thing. And then I was doing my own homework of like, whether it was like YouTube University or asking other people, like, or just learning on my own, like editing processes, or getting a thing, putting it in your phone, editing it right after and sending it to him. Like, those things are so important that, like, I don't think some people are so focused on like not the fame, but just like the celebrity life of being with somebody, that I'm like, you know, you have to keep up with them, especially somebody like him, to where like it really went 0 to 100 quickly, you know. And he could have just went and got the best photographer out because he was the hottest thing, you know what I mean? So I always like give him his props for that, because he really didn't have to. But for the video, yeah, he was like, "You can do it. Just like go make a mood board, go do it." And I was like, okay. So I would write it, and then he'll go over it and kind of tweak things that he likes. Or he's like, "Okay, well, I want there to be a jacuzzi scene or this scene." And I'd be like, "Okay, that's what you want. Well, I'll compromise with you," you know? So there were certain things that I was like, "Don't take this out," and certain things that he felt the same way, you know? So just very collaborative.
Oh, that's so cool. And it was such a good video. Like, okay, so again, so many things. Mood boards, definitely my vibe as well. That was like kind of my introduction into graphic design. I was on Polyvore and I was on PicMonkey and editing pictures.
Yes.
And like doing collages. It's so funny. I just logged into my Tumblr like a week ago just to look at the type of stuff that I was reblogging. Like, ugh, little me, like she had the vision for real. She knew what she was doing. So what was like the creative vision? What were some things that were on the mood board for that?
Some mood board stuff was really just like finding lighting references when it came to like the red world and the blue world.
Yeah.
Other than that, I would say like when I'm creating, especially with like a Summer or Bryson, because their lyrics are so storytelling of its own. It's like I can just listen to the song and think of like my shot list, or think of like what the girl's gonna be doing, what he's gonna be doing, because they're so descriptive, you know? And I think like somebody like him is like, I'm so passionate about storytelling, and if it can relate to me, I'm like, oh, I know how I want this to look, because this is what happened to me, you know. And I'm looking, I listened to this song, looked out the window, and have my own music video, so I already know how I want this to go, you know. So other than like some lighting references and some like in that video, there's a scene where he's drinking water in red, and then he puts the glass down and it turns blue, and the water turns to liquor, because he never drank. It's okay. That was like my proudest moment. I was like, I'm never gonna tell anybody. Like, this is my own like creative moment.
Because I like literally watched that video up and down. I was like, I'm the house in the blue light, and my favorite part, the melting clocks, because that reminds me so much of Salvador Dali.
Yeah, that's what it was for.
Period. I'm glad.
Yeah.
So I went to there's a museum. I live in Florida now, but there's a museum here, a Salvador Dali museum, and I'm like looking at the thing, and I'm like, where have I seen this before? And I'm like, oh, the music video. It's like, how cool is that? That like the big brain. That's what our creators, big brain. Cool. I love that. That was one of my favorite tidbits. And so was that like intentional or like?
The melting clocks?
Yeah, like
I think, and I'll say this, like as a creative, I think like you selfishly, or I'll speak for myself, like I selfishly tell some of my story through other people, you know. So it's like I'm the luckiest person because of Bryson and the Summer, they're combined is like what feels like my life story as well. So it's like the melting clocks, like I have a tattoo, surreal, right here. So it's like when I was on tour with him the first time, and I'm still living at home and I'm 19 years old, it's like I used to read a lot and just do a lot of research, and I was like, oh, this is like a dream like reality, which is like the definition of surrealism.
Yeah.
And that's how it felt, because it's like when I'm with you guys or I'm in this world, it's a dream, and then I go home and my mom's like, did you take the trash out, did you do this? Like I'm still young, you know. So it's just, it was a weird balance to understand, and eventually, like, you know, you do have to really almost like mentally sign up for what that is, because it's not normal. You know what I mean? It's really not normal. So that was the beauty in that. So when it came to the clocks, I just wanted to like represent something with that. And then obviously clocks and Ro.lexx, like I have a tie to that I'm passionate about. But no, it was definitely the Salvador Dali tie-in.
Oh yeah, I loved that. I thought that was a really cool reference. And even like for one of his other music videos, there was a lot of Salvador Dali. I think for Sorrow, I don't know, one of the music videos, and it's like the desert and everything. And I was like, oh, there's so many Dali.
Yeah, it's like a lot of clocks.
Yes. I love that, because I feel like, going off on a mini tangent, like good music, emotional, like music like that is low-key how you time travel, because you're always going to go back to the place, the time, the wherever heart space you were when you were feeling that song the most.
Yeah,
you're gonna go back there. So I'm like, we do time traveling exists. I tell my friends that all the time. It's not a machine. It's literally when you listen to music. I mean, for me at least, I can't speak for everybody, but that was a really cool reference. And so kind of going back to what you talked about, touring with so how does that translate differently energetically? And you kind of talked about like keeping up with the artists and having to go really fast, and what is the contrast between like being in a more controlled space, and like what do you prefer? Because I peeped earlier, you like the fluidity, you like the movement of it, but is touring like, is that too much movement? Like what's your creative boundary in that way?
It's funny because I like both. Like I get drained of both, honestly. So it's like one of those things where it's like when you're not doing the other, you appreciate the other, you know what I mean? But like when I just did tour recently with Summer, and Bryson was on the tour too, so it was like the best of both worlds. But it was the perfect amount of time. Like I'm in a different part of my life now. Obviously I have a son and stuff, so it was different, but I appreciated it because I haven't done it in so long, to where like I loved every second of it. I was like, oh, this is the best. And then when I got home, I was excited to like get back to a more, you know, like thorough photo shoot with all the plans and all the production and stuff like that. So it really is like right there 50-50 both, because the experience of tour is like nothing you have to do it to know what it's like, you know?
Yeah. Again, something that I feel like I empathize like creatively, just that fast-paced movement, because I know somebody, for me, like I create very chaotically, but still from a super grounded place. So like have to, that's what I'm saying, it's a talent to try to get those shots like that, like, oh, this is a moment, oh, this is a moment. And then you're like moving around, right? Like you're running around.
I do feel like my best gift, like over these years of learning, is my like observation, my anticipation. So I do think I do good at tour because you can almost like see the moments before they're gonna come. Like I'm a very big observer. And it's harder to get those moments in a big production where you're like wanting somebody to naturally give you, you know, a moment, but they're looking at the camera like, girl, what you want me to do? You know, it's like I'm like, just pretend I'm not here. They're like, okay.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool. And I also feel like you gotta kind of be like intuitive to like, you gotta be able to anticipate what the, like that intuition, just feeling like, oh, I know this is about to be something. Yeah. That's a skill a lot of creatives, I feel like, sleep on. As far as that is concerned.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about touring, we talked about Trapsoul anniversary. So what are some other, what's like another really memorable album cover moment for you as the photographer?
I mean, definitely Over It.
Okay.
Yeah. That was like, you know what's so crazy like about Trapsoul? It felt like while we were living in Trapsoul, like it was legendary. Like every day felt legendary, and how the culture took it. Yeah. It almost like it didn't need 10 years for people to be like, this is iconic. Like it was crazy, you know? And I feel like going into the Over It stuff, I met Summer before she even had music out. Like it was, I don't know, like it was crazy. And at the shoot, her, like pretty much she had a manager that was like, can you do a quick shoot? We just had mutual friends and stuff like that. He's like, I have a new artist. And I was like, yeah, cool. If you guys come to Long Beach, I'll do it. Like I'm still at home, you know, I'm like, cool. If you guys come to Long Beach, I'll do the shoot. And we do it. I've never heard any of her music. She's cool. She was a little more in her like dark era before she had put out music and stuff. So I shoot her and we have good camaraderie. Like she's like, oh my God, you're funny. Well, I'm like, okay, period. Like, and I get in the car with him and he plays me Session 32, like while we're just driving to another location, really. Yeah. And he plays that song and I'm just like, that's the best song I ever heard. Like this is the best song I've ever heard. Yeah. And I don't know, it was just so crazy because I was just like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. And then even just from hearing that song from one location to the next, it like I knew how I would want to shoot her, you know, like from that point forward, I knew just based off of that song. So, and I had told her like, oh, he just played me Session 32, like that's amazing. And she's like, thanks, cool, whatever. She was living in Atlanta at the time, so like she goes back there, I'm still doing whatever I'm doing here, and we just connect on social media. And I think maybe like a few months later, I was telling her like, oh, if you ever are like doing another project or doing this or that, like I really want to be a part of it. Yeah. And when I think she responded one time just saying like, oh, I am working on something. And I started just like pitching her ideas. Like, what if we do this? What if we do this? Which was like sparking her ideas to say like, oh yeah, but that would be cute. Like, can it be pink? Like she would give, you know, that type of collaboration. So that's kind of how that started back up. But yeah, Over It, when I heard them songs, oh my gosh, I was just like, this is like a girl Trapsoul to me, you know, like the same experience that I had. So I
agree. Cool. I love that comparison. Yeah. I think that's so true. Yeah. Way more like girly, and then again with the colors, like super well, I don't want to say pigmented, but the color is like
the storytelling.
Yes, and I love that because Over It is such a good one too. And something that I love about the Over It cover is like the facial expression, like catching it right at the finger with the lips, like all of those little things like are so important. And so, what was that like on set? As far as like the collaboration, I think I saw like one behind the scene picture.
Yeah, we do have some from that day. Yeah. It was great. The shoot day was good. I remember too on that mood board because a lot of people have reenacted that cover. Yeah. And it's funny because it's like that mood board, there was a reference of a girl like having an attitude on her face. So I remember telling Summer like, you have to like be on the call. Like, you know, because at first you could be very like, so she just started being like, you know, she's a very like all right, fuck it. Like, what do I gotta do? So that's like, it kind of just came out like when we're scrolling through it, we're like, oh wait, that's fire, you know? So that was really how that came about. But the experience was great. We just did like focus on looks, it was a house in LA, a pink house, and certain things were set dressed. Other than that, it was just very, very focused on like what our mood board was. But
yeah, again, like to your point, so many people have recreated, and I feel like getting like cursing somebody out on the phone as a female is such like a canon event. Like I feel like I think of, again, like talking about, well, I don't want to say references, but for Summer Walker Over It, I always think of that scene in Belly again with the colors and Keisha. She's on the phone and she's and so like I feel like I like that those moments can be like reflected for music moments.
Yeah, it's so funny because that was not one of my references.
Really?
Yeah, it was not. It was not.
Love that though.
I think one of my references was like, hopefully I'm getting it right, but I think it was a scene from Honey, the movie Honey.
I love that movie.
Yeah, but more of like the setting was like reference from that scene.
Got it. I actually think I know exactly what you're talking about. That used to be my favorite movies when I was a kid.
Me too.
That was okay. Wow, that was another really good cover that you've done too. And then going back to the whole collaboration aspect of what it's like you kind of taking that role of a photographer, but a creative director, and like very much I have a vision and not just showing up and snapping a picture and going home.
Yeah.
So I think that that's really cool. So what's something about your specific creative process that you think a lot of people don't know, or like maybe it just doesn't, maybe it's not so front facing, you know? If it's like researching, processing, like editing after the fact, like what would you say?
I would say, I mean, first and foremost, if it is for music, like I want to hear the music. Like I'm a very, like I said, like I'm a very selfish creative. Like I like to relate to something in the storytelling. I think that's the best way I could translate like my vision or like that, my eye and stuff. So that's really important to me. And then in the process, I really just, ideally I would like listen to the music, whatever is like hitting me, whether it's words or what the storytelling is, then I'll like go to my mood board, create what I want to create, share it with the artist, and kind of be like, hey, this is where I'm leaning. Does anything stick out to you? Or like, does anything not feel like you? And then we can kind of like decipher from there. And then I can really go into like how I'm going to make it my own after that. Everything is a little different, but that I would say that's like the core. Yeah. So it's just really like, I don't know. I'm such a like passionate person. Like it's very hard for me to just like do something and be like, okay, what do you want? Okay, I'll do that, you know?
Yeah.
Even if somebody knows what they want, I like might try to convince them otherwise, or be like, well, what if we do this too?
Yeah.
Which is so for her, oh my gosh, for Summer's Still Over It cover where she's in the car.
Yes.
Like that was not supposed to be the cover. Like she picked a different picture for that cover.
But she was like, nah, I'm telling you.
Well, I just remembered the day she, like, let's just say it's like a studio photo. And then I'm like, well, can I just do Polaroids of you in the car? I did have a reference for that. I was like, I want to keep this world because it kind of like goes based off of this cover, you know, the Over It cover. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. And then I think I only had like 7 Polaroids left. So I like did 7. And then we like fought for that cover. To turn it to that cover. So I was like, okay, cool. So sometimes it's that much compromising, you know, where I'm like, okay, I'll do exactly what you want, and then let me do exactly what I want, and we'll see who wins. And that's okay. Like
and I love that you are constantly being put in spaces where that is supported, like that that you can, because there's sometimes other clients that are like, no, I said what I said. We're not doing none of what you, even what I like, I don't want to say ugly. I'm working on it. Even what the client likes is not favorable. Right. And I'm trying to tell you, it's so hard. That's something that's been difficult for me as a creative, like having that communication, that medium, that medium ground, I guess you could say. So for Still Over It. So you were saying that the picture was supposed to be something different. What was the intention for that cover though? To still just to literally do an evolution of Over It visually?
That's what I wanted to portray. Yeah. So it's like here she's on the phone. It's still intimate. Like she might not be a celebrity here in this storytelling to me.
Yeah.
And then in the next one, it's like people are in your business. It's like, you know, you're in the car and you're still kind of like, dang, like I need a second. Because these are like strangers. Like that was what I wanted to portray through that photo.
Yeah, I like that too because it's kind of like juxtaposing to the title because it's like you're supposed to be over it, but you cussing somebody out on the phone, you like a lot of this. So I like that, and I liked the whole Polaroid aesthetic. I feel like that's very summer. I don't know. There's something about that mesh just fit perfectly. Okay, so I want to know, like, going more as far as the creative conversation, as far as you as a creative, what do you think are some non-photography related skills that have been really important throughout working with just throughout your career?
No, that's a good question. Ooh, I think I'm just a really good like loyal person. Like, you know, I don't, other than like doing my job and representing it well, like that's all I care about, you know? And I care about, I'm the type of person, like if I'm sitting with someone, I'm like, are you hungry? Like, you know, and everyone else might be like, are you excited for the show? Oh my gosh, what's the new song? What's the new this? What's the new that?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go here and get food. Do you want something? Like I'm just a very like down to earth person, and I think that comes through in the rooms that I've been in, and people appreciate that, and I love that because at the end of the day, like that's really what it's about. And I'm one of those people, like I'm gonna remember your birthday. I'm gonna remember all these things because that's just what I care about. I like at my core.
I love that.
So yeah, really that, just being a good person. Other than that, like being on time, like all the things that I learned through being an athlete, like I don't play with people's time. I don't, you know, in the industry, there's like a world of, I'll send it to you tomorrow. And then like you're asking them a week later and 2 weeks later, like, yeah, I don't play about none of that. Like I'm very thorough, very straightforward. And what you see is what you get, like ultimately in my work process and in my personal life. So,
and that probably lands so good because people respect that, and that's probably not like that's probably not as common as it should be.
Yeah,
especially like in the music industry. I mean, I don't really know too much about the culture of the music industry, but I know creatively, like things like that. But I love that, like the structure from the sports, how that translates over to how creative, because creatively, you know, creatives are very like, well, whatever, we're just vibing, we're just going with the wind. But there does need to be some order in the court as far as that is concerned. So
and it's like something you have to learn is like it. So like growing up in sports, like you have a coach, and then now it's like you set the order. Like you have to live up to your own standards and like be accountable for everything that you're doing, and that's a little different than when you come from that world. So it's just like a maturity thing, like where it's like even being on tour, it's like you have to know how much you can. I think sometimes people might get lost, right? Like you're going to the after party with them, but like really, did you turn them photos in though before you went? Like, you know, there's still like a level of professionalism that needs balance to, you know, being close to people or traveling and all those things. So I think all of those things are very important.
Yeah. That's something. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's something, and just being yourself. Like it just sounds like some like you say, just down to earth. That's just who you are. So there's nothing to upkeep. There's no this is just me for real. And I love that. And I feel like people who have that in their career in any industry would be set for life. Those are the type of people that I feel drawn to, people that I admire. Hence why I was like, her. So another thing that I want to talk about is the blue hair. So the hair personal branding is so important, whether people realize it or not, especially as a creative. And I feel like I love the whole idea of the blue hair because you were like darker before, and now you're like this icy blue. So what was the process about the blue hair? Why blue?
This is so funny because I'm literally like, I was on the phone with a friend yesterday and we were kind of just like, I was telling him I was doing this interview. So somehow along the lines, I was like into this type of conversation.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, no one really knows anything about you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, because I'm such a like the blue hair ultimately is because like a boy cheated on me and I needed to change. Like, you know, I'm very dramatic, like in my, you know, I'm very dramatic, I'm very passionate. Hence, like the artists that I work with, the music that they make is like everything to me because I'm like, yes, that happened to me. Like, you know, yeah, that's literally what happened. A boy cheated on me that I liked when I was young, when I was 18. And I knew that I had the I had another thing where I was just like, I feel like I'm so different. Like my energy is so different. My personality is so different. But I feel like I do not look like how I feel on the inside. Like that was like something I did not connect to.
Yeah.
And when I was on, you know, in my Pinterest and my Tumblr, and I was like, oh, this girl has pink hair. Like, that's cute. This is cute, whatever. And I think I just like pulled the trigger to want change so bad from my heartbreak. That I was like, I remember going to a hair salon on my 19th birthday and telling this girl, like, I wanted pink hair first. And she was like, absolutely not. Like, that's not going to work. And I was like, okay, what about silver? And she was like, worse than pink. Like, that's really not going to work. And I was like, dang, like, what can I get? And she was like, maybe blue, maybe this. So it really was not as intentional.
Okay.
As the story developed, like, you know. And so even when she said, cool, do blue, girl, like do something because my life is starting over today. And it did, which is so crazy. But yes, so then we had done that dark blue and that was a whole nother journey of like, you have to, I didn't have money like that. So it's like, that's a very expensive change.
They don't tell you that. Even with me, blonde, I'm like, and it shows. I'm like, oh, the pockets is thin, the blonde is thinner. Like,
they're like, get this $100 shampoo and conditioner. I'm like, babe, I'm not getting that. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not getting that. And so back then I remember I did that initially, like, you know, had this big goal of like, now I'm really gonna make it, like in my revenge mode of like, how dare he do me like that? And I don't know, I was upkeeping the hair, and I remember when I met Bryson, I did have the blue hair. So when like that DM where he was like, I think you were at my house, he was like, I saw blue hair, but like, so it was crazy to know that like ultimately that could have been what, you know, made our relationship form because he could recognize me by something. And even the name Ro.lexx, like that was my Instagram name. I didn't think people were gonna call me that. But then when I meet someone, they're like, are you Ro.lexx? And I'm like, I guess, like, sure, I am, you know. And that's in the same way. It was like similar, but yeah, the hair, I don't know, I kept it up. It was hard. Like I remember going on tour and being like, my hair's like breaking off and all types of stuff. But I don't know, I committed this long and I feel like I'm gonna have it forever. So
no, I love it. I love the blue hair. I feel like, to your point, like you don't have to, but I think hair is so weird because it's not a boy thing or a girl thing. It's just like hair, I think is just really is like how you dress up your sim. Like when I went blonde, I was like, why have I never been blonde before? And it's so funny. My mom was like, in high school, she was like, you should dye your hair, you should go blonde. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, I used to be curly. I'm like, I don't want my hair break up. If I don't, I'm like, give me the blonde. If I don't have the blonde, I'm like, my life is I'm not me for real.
Yeah. No, I like my ID picture is brown hair. Like to this day. Yeah, like my manager is always like, girl, go get a new picture. And so like whenever I go this, I'm like, oh no, like I'm like, oh my God, here. And they're just like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, no, it just is a different person to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know. I'm like, I don't even know who that is. But okay, we're here now.
Sure, I guess that lady, this lady on my ID, that's not me.
Literally, yeah.
But I think all of that like just goes, everything, all of these elements, I think really goes hand in hand. Like, and then so wait, so you were dark blue. So then how we get to like light blue?
Well, okay, the dark blue was like what I was dyeing it, and then when it would be fading, I feel like people would be like, oh, I like when it's faded, you know, or like I like this, and I'd be like, okay, let me try to go a little lighter, and then we slowly just started to go a little lighter. And then the girl who does my hair now, like she was like, you know, I could do it even lighter, and I was because of breakage and stuff, I would just be like, but are you sure? Because like I'm just getting it back to like being healthy. And she'd be like, yeah. And we've been able to keep it now for like probably three or 4 years, like this light. So I'm just like, oh yeah, I love this way more. Now when I see the dark blue, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like this 2016 trend when people are posting like those pictures, and I'm like, please don't. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
but it's okay. It's part of the story.
It is. Everything like leads up to like in a couple of years from now, you'll probably be a different shade of blue or you might have whatever the blue. I love this. I love whatever shade this is. I'm like, that is very fab. Such a big fan.
Thank you.
All right, so we're wrapping up. I guess my last question for you is, what are some projects or things creatively, visually that you want to be a part of in the future? Like, let's put it out in the universe. Do we want to be more accolades? Do we want to work with artists from different genres? Like, what are some things that you see yourself dabbling in?
Okay, that's a good question. I did write the other day in my notebook that I do, because artwork is now like could be Grammy nominated.
Yep.
So like I would love to be nominated in one of those categories. I think that would be cool. I also like randomly, like I grew up listening to country music like with my family. So I was listening to country music this morning and I was like, maybe I want to like tap into one of these because it's really like my childhood over there. Yeah. So I'm just like, that might be cool. So I'm open to other genres. I'm just such a people person. It's like I like to have a personal connection with somebody to build from that.
Yeah.
And besides that, I'm working on a really big art show this year. Yeah, and I'm very, very, very excited because it'll be mixed with like a big passion project that I'm doing, and then mixed up like 10 years of my career and what that looks like. So I'm really hoping for that to be like pretty big and pretty like stamping what I've done thus far,
Yeah, and that's gonna have all work, like album covers, photography, like all things, everything.
Yeah,
wow. That's gonna be really, really dope to see.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I have a team that's working on it with me. So we've been putting in a lot of work on like the production side, just because I don't want to rush it and it just be like here today, gone tomorrow kind of thing. Like I really want it to be a moment, and I think that'll be great. I really do. I'm not the most patient person, so I've been like, oh my gosh, when are we doing the show? But I know it'll be worth it, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I love that's really cool too. You want to give like kind of like a exhibition vibe, not just like around staring at photos, like make it a little bit more immersive and things like that.
Yeah, exactly that. And just like how I've been touching into how important storytelling is to me, or like the correlation to my life. Like we didn't even talk about like motherhood. Like that has changed so much of my interest and my connection to like summer. Our first kids are 3 days apart. Like we have such strange like connections. Yeah, and it's like how those things kind of just shape what you want to create and why. And I'm excited to, like, this art show will show that more of that side of me, like kind of what's changed while I've had my son. And yeah, that's a whole different conversation.
That is so exciting though, because it's like eras and levels and it's never one note. And that is what makes people can like have an appreciation for the art as a whole. I'm like, I don't know nothing about arts, but that makes me want to, like, your good photography makes me want to look at what other sports stuff she did. I don't even know. I barely know if it's been a football and a basketball. Like that is so fire to me. I love that. Well, I am wishing you much success on the art show.
Thank you so much.
All the future endeavors. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. We did a good time.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
You're welcome.